Hello! We have done our paper on the question, how does the novel represent experiences of immigration? Using John Lahiri's novel, The Namesake, and the assigned political science readings by Gerald O'Brien, Castano and Ginner Sorolla, and Esses and colleagues. Our paper argues that the novel provides an antidote to anti-immigration rhetoric and dominant narratives of infrahumanization and dehumanization by detailing complex and nuanced experiences of a Bengali American family as they experience secondary emotions in interpersonal relationships, confront the racist metaphors of immigrants as vectors of infectious disease, and challenge the media's vilification of immigrants.
Infrahumanization, a concept introduced by Emmanuel Castano and Roger Gainer Sorolla, refers to a rhetorical method by which groups of people can be framed as less than fully human. According to their writing, two different types of emotions exist in human beings. Primary emotions are experienced by all animals, including humans, such as pleasure, anger, and fear, to name a few. The other type, secondary emotions, are possessed exclusively by people. These are complex feelings such as love, guilt, humiliation, etc. Infrahumanization is denying the presence of these complex secondary emotions in a person or group of people. Ultimately, this leaves the target rendered less than fully human. We argue that the novel can counteract this type of framing by exploring the experiences of these emotions in its immigrant subjects. The novel helps combat the discourse of infrahumanization by showing the complex emotions of its characters, such as Gogol, the son of two first-generation immigrants, who possesses secondary emotions like love and guilt, as exemplified by his feelings in his familial and romantic relationships.
The sudden death of Gogol's father makes him feel guilty. His feelings of this secondary emotion of guilt stems from a prolonged period in which he prioritized his American girlfriend Maxine over his familial responsibilities. Throughout his early life, Gogol attempts to distance himself from his culture, and Maxine acts as an avenue for this. His father's death reversing this push and pull dynamic back towards Gogol's home is an example unique to the immigrant experience, and brings with it secondary emotions that are inseparable from Gogol's character. Feelings of love are also essential to the emotional story of the novel. Gogol's love for his family is what drew him back to them after spending so much time away with Maxine. After his split with Maxine, Gogol feels hopeful, another secondary emotion, about his relationship with Mashumi, and quickly falls in love with her. The novel's communication of these secondary emotions, found in its immigrant characters, provides representation, a type of representation that is necessary to combat portrayals of immigrants as anything less than fully human.
The novel also helps confront the issue of anti-immigration rhetoric that shows face in the forms of racist metaphors and imagery. Opponents of immigration often make use of these two forms to further fuel anti-immigration sentiments and dehumanize the migrant population. This is sometimes done by portraying them as diseases infecting the body of the nation. Narratives like these are dangerous because they advance the infrahumanization of immigrants and add to the list of racial microaggressions used against them. Characters in the novel are shown to experience racial microaggressions. For example, where Gogol's classmates mock his name by calling him Gargle and Giggle, as well as in the incident of the defacement of the mailbox. This is where the last name Ganguly was changed to gangrene, referring to the bacterial infection of gangrene. These are some of the ways the novel confronts racist metaphors.
Yet, despite the hardships that many immigrants face, negative discourses toward them seems to never end, with news outlets continue perpetuating negative stereotypes to vilify immigrants, such as naming them as queue jumpers or terrorists. This has led to them often being perceived as undeserving and dishonest people. Furthermore, mainstream media also portray immigrants as vectors of diseases, thereby instilling fear into the public and cause them to think of immigrants as evil entities that only want to invade and spread diseases to their homelands. As a result, this has often led to immigrants becoming victims of dehumanizing treatments and are treated as if they are animals or savages. However, by describing the transformation of Ashima's impression toward America, the author wants to challenge the dominant narratives toward immigrants and to demonstrate that immigrants are also honest and hardworking individuals who only try their best to pursue a better life. Hence, not all immigrants are as dangerous or as harmful as the media portray them to be.
The third approach the novel takes in resisting anti-immigration rhetoric is through detailed portrayals of immigrant experiences that humanize these communities. In the case of Ashima, Lahiri emphasizes her individual progression as an immigrant in America by describing the shift in her impressions toward this country. She first views immigration as a lifelong pregnancy or a continuous feeling out of sorts. She gradually grows attached and learns to accept this new country as her second home. In illustrating the shift in her emotions, the author shows the readers that immigrants like Ashima face numerous struggles integrating into American society. Like millions of other people, she makes numerous sacrifices in pursuit of a better life for her family.
Overall, through exploring the nuanced experiences that the Ganguly family went through in The Namesake as they combat issues such as cross-cultural relationships, confronting racist metaphors of immigrants, and challenging the media's vilification of immigrants, we can see that not all immigrants adhere to the racist metaphors and negative rhetoric the media frames them to be. Instead, many are actually as sincere and hardworking as Ashok and Ashima in the novel, who come to America in hopes of pursuing a brighter future for their families. And so, it is important to make oneself aware of the representation of groups such as immigrants that media portrays and recognize media as a tool that has the power to further challenge the lives of immigrants through means of negative discourses and baseless framings, leading many to suffer from dehumanizing and infrahumanizing treatments. That is everything. Thank you for listening.